Hi guys, welcome to Melissa's Musing. So it's a beautiful Sunday here in San Diego and I'm excited to come to you with a little musing today. So I'm going to give you guys a little story. So yesterday John and I were doing a lot of driving, and in the car we had one of our amazing friends and colleagues who also went through ALA with us. His name is Greg. We were chatting and I was talking about how for me, I don't resonate as much with religion, the box that religion is, but I do believe in a higher power and Jesus in the universe, and like I believe in energy and I follow God, but I don't like the restrictions of religion. Basically, I was talking about how some of the most religious people that I know are the most hypocritical. That was kind of my discussion point. And we were having a really interesting discussion about religion and about how a lot of the most religious people that I know don't always show up and like are in a space that screams to me godlike behavior. I find that sometimes people use religion as a scapegoat. Was kind of my discussion point. And so this musing is not about religion, but it leads to the story. And so ultimately, so Greg was like, yeah, you know, one of my biggest things with religion is that sometimes it's a lot of do as I say, preaching, not say as I do, or do as I say, not as I do. So that type of behavior was around me a lot growing up. I was in a lot of very religious teachings and Sunday school and church, and my parents were religious, and ultimately a lot of structure, a lot of rules, and a lot of fitting into this box, right? And if you didn't fit into this box, it's okay. We could ask for forgiveness if we were to sin and all this stuff. However, he kind of came back with something that like just knocked me off my chair. I immediately had to write it down. He said, you know, my biggest struggle with it is that, you know, it's a do as I say, not as I do a lot of times. And he came out with this quote, and the quote is, the way we live makes so much noise, there's very little you need to say. The way we live makes so much noise, there's very little you need to say. And I was like, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. Because if we're truly living, and it like was like an explosion for me, because here I am having this really interesting discussion around religion and, you know, rules and fitting into the box and hypocrisy and blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, so simply put, the way we live makes so much noise, there's very little you need to say. And that truly is, I think, the testament and really why religion itself, this box, right, does not really resonate with me. Because so many people who live in this box, regardless if they're religious or it's their way of life, right, they may say they take action a certain way. So for example, I'm just using religion because it's the example I'm using, but a preacher, you know, maybe preaches every Sunday, but then goes home and isn't necessarily the most, ideal human being. Maybe they cheat with cheat on their wife, or aren't a good father to their family, or are really angry, or whatever it may be. Maybe they don't live and be the way they'd ideally like to show up, right? What they're preaching on Sunday isn't necessarily the way they show up into the rest of their life kind of story. And so it really resonated with me because no matter what it is that you believe, religious, not religious, you could literally be a worshiper of the clouds, I don't know, but whatever it is that you decide to be in life, how are you showing up? Are you showing up to fulfill the way that you've decided to be? Like, are you showing up to fulfill your purpose? So for me, I believe in love, joy, and connection, and I believe that's what God stands for. That's the universe for me, energy for me, and what God means to me. So to be in godlike character, I get to show up 100% of the time, not 70% of the time, because I know God will forgive me for the other 30%, but 100% of the time I really, truly, genuinely get to show up how I'm committed to being every single day. And the power in that is the way I live makes so much noise, there's very little I need to say. So I don't need to preach my shit at anybody. Long story short, I basically, if you believe in what I have to say, and like I'm projecting what it is that my message is, but I'm not showing up in that way, well, guess what? My message isn't going to resonate with anybody because my message means shit. But if I have a promising message and I bring that message to the table, and along with that message every single step that I take forward and every action that I choose and really how I choose to show up every moment of every day, well, guess what? That's what's going to resonate, because I'm doing as I say and doing as I do. So, you know what I mean? Do you guys feel me? Paul. Awesome. I would love to read your books. Thanks for watching. But yeah, so that was my message today. I loved the quote. And if you guys are kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for, like controller type, preachy type, which I was, so I'm a hardcore controller. This is not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of love. But truly, if you are somebody who often preaches at friends, don't do this, don't do that. Mom, I can't believe you're doing this. Child, I can't believe you're doing this. Reflect on how you're showing up as a person. And this is really an awesome thing to reflect on if you are struggling in parenting. Granted, I don't have children, so I am no expert in this field. However, I do know that children love to follow example. So if your kid is acting out, or maybe being really fresh or sassy or lying to you, maybe it's an opportunity to reflect. Are you lying? Are you being sassy? Are you, showing up the way you want to ultimately show up to be an example for your kids or an example to the people around you? So I love you guys. Hope you're having an amazing weekend. And Paul, let me see what you said. These are questions I've been trying to figure out for almost a decade. It's super important. It totally is, man. And honestly, I am no guru. I love to learn. I'm continually practicing and learning, and like literally there's so many lessons, and that's ultimately why I do these musings. There's just so many lessons that we can learn on a daily basis if we're open to it. And literally every breakdown can lead to a breakthrough, and every what the fuck moment can truly lead to something so ridiculously great that we never intended or that we never had the capacity of even mentally understanding prior. So I love you guys, and I thank you so much for watching always and for your support. Thanks for always watching, Paul. I really appreciate it. The more you learn, the less you realize you know. That is so fucking true. I feel like the more I learn, I literally read books and I'm like, okay, I need to read 10 more. Now I need to learn so much more about the topic I'm learning about. Okay, I love you guys. We will talk soon. Hope you're having an amazing Sunday. I love you guys. Okay, bye.